My oldest daughter calls me dad or daddy. My youngest daughter calls me Bill. And it bothers me. She finally came clean with it, and she's like, well, I do that, Dad, because you don't listen to me. And when I say that, you hear me. And that was like, whoa. I'm like, that was pretty deep. What's up, Curtis?
Dude, so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
So, Curtis, we met a few years back, right? We met through Cedar.
We love Cedar.
Yeah, Cedar, nice work.
Georgievich.
You are connecting it. Curtis, just give a brief intro on who you are, my friend.
Well, I grew up on a farm, itty bitty farm, Atchison, Kansas, raised pigs, sold in the county fair. Everything was idyllic until Christmas Day. I was 11 years old. Our house burned down to the ground. We lost everything. We had no fire insurance. We moved into a trailer house, got our clothes from the Salvation Army, our blankets and towels from friends at church, and that changed everything.
Did you have any older brothers and sisters?
One younger sister.
And how much younger?
2 years.
That must have been some trauma.
It was brutal, but that made me who I am today.
I can relate to that. I had a very good family upbringing, but we didn't come from a lot of money. And my dad at one point, he became a minister of a church, but it was really, I think, for taxes. And it was good until not good. And I remember his wages got garnished, and there was like, it wasn't like bad as that, but it was like I remember like 3 to 4 years. It was tough. It was tough. But I think that builds who we are. And,
exactly.
And I paid for all my college myself, and I paid for everything. So I grind like you grind.
Thank you.
And so. Was it just one fire, or was it like a...
Yeah, it wasn't the Palisades. My heart goes out to everybody in Palisades and Altadena. But it was Christmas Day, and some electrical wires were left exposed and just gone. Yeah. So, losing your house is bad. Having no fire insurance is worse. That financial impact led to my parents' ultimate divorce, and there were times when cash was so tight. It was me, my mom, and my sister all working at McDonald's in high school to bring in money, and like you, paid my own way through college and had an opportunity to intern in Washington, D.C., where I met a couple guys from Los Angeles. So I spent a summer out here in Los Angeles because we started a little publishing company, and I fell in love with LA, and I knew I wanted to do something entrepreneurial. Knew it wasn't going to be publishing because we weren't making enough money to cover anything than our beer tabs. And yet I was at an entrepreneurs conference at KU and met a young guy who loved what he did, and I thought, well, gosh, maybe I could do that. So after the talk, I went up to him and said, I'd love to do something like this, but I don't have any money. Is that a problem? And he said, no. And I said, I'd like to do it in Los Angeles. Is that a problem? And he said, no. And so 7 days after graduating from KU, I moved to Los Angeles on a Saturday, and a Jewish friend recommended Bel Air Church. So I went there on Sunday, and I started my financial planning practice at Northwestern Mutual on Monday, and I've been doing the same thing every week for 34 years.
Congratulations! That is quite the feat. You don't really hear that much, and I'm like you. I mean, when I moved to LA in '97, and had $500 in my name, and was living on a friend's girlfriend's couch in Hermosa Beach, and it wasn't that bad, to be honest with you. And then just kept grinding, and here we are.
Exactly.
Yeah. What did you study during school?
Journalism.
Oh, same.
How apropos.
Yeah.
We're doing a podcast together.
Yeah, exactly. We're finally doing things that are fun. I'm not just looking at spreadsheets and numbers and all that good stuff. When the fire happened, and then things got really tight, you said to yourself, I am going to figure this out, and I'm not going to get myself nor my family in the same mess that we got into as a kid.
100%. That is one of the primary reasons I went into financial planning, because I didn't want my family to ever experience the financial hardship that we did.
Yeah, no, I think that's a big thing. I look at my journey on becoming LAsober. It's just, I don't drink anymore, and I look at my genes, and it runs fluid. And I can just aunts, uncles, grandpas, and it just goes on and on and on. And I fought it for the longest time, going, "Oh, I'm different. I'm different." No, Bill, you're not different. And you really make it. And then I wanted to make sure that my daughters can see that it's not okay. If you can't handle your liquor, then don't drink. And that's right.
And there's some great alternatives.
There are some great alternatives. So you moved to LA and you started your business. Tell me about that.
So, in our business, it's all about getting new clients. And the really successful people in their first 6 months will get 40 new clients. At the end of my first 6 months, I had 4 clients, and I was my biggest client, and that was not good. And so the managing partner at the time sat me down and said, "Listen, this is a tough business, and you've got to become a ferocious prospector." Because I moved here, I didn't really know anybody, and that just kind of got me to thinking, what am I really passionate about? And I realized that my passion is meeting, befriending, and connecting people for mutual benefit. And so that's what led to me starting to do these dinner events, bringing together entrepreneurs and having fun. And that's really been the lifeblood of my business over the past 34 years. And that's how we met, because Cedar and I partnered up on the dinner.
Correct. And it's very, which I'm not sure if it was your angle, but it's smart that you went the longevity, because it goes hand in hand with what you're selling, because if you're living longer, you need more life insurance and all that good stuff.
Yes. Yeah. So the 3 pillars, and maybe I'll just give you the quick longevity origin story. So 2 years ago, I went to this longevity conference hosted by Peter Diamandis, Tony Robbins, David Sinclair from the Harvard Longevity Lab. And they basically said, if you could just live 10 more years, so many things that can kill us today, they're going to have to figure it out. And what was crazy about this conference is when you registered, you had to say not only what name you wanted on your name badge, but also to what age you expected to live. So imagine being in this room of 400 longevity folks, and they're all walking around with their life expectancy on their name badge, and you introduce yourself to the Stanford longevity professor, and he's planning on living to 150. And you meet this guy in his 70s who's planning on living to 156. In fact, he wrote a book, My Plan for Living to 156, and then Tony Robbins says 200, and Peter Diamandis 200 plus. So I was just blown away by all these numbers. And as I left the conference, I just had, these 3 epiphanies that if people are potentially going to live way longer than we ever imagined, there's some massive implications. And the first one is no one wants to be really, really old and sick. And the second one is no one wants to be really, really old and lonely. And to your point, the third one is no one wants to be really, really old and broke.
Yeah.
So right on the mark.
What's a good benchmark for folks that are here that about like how much life insurance does someone need? I know that's probably a tricky question, but
yeah, I mean, you need whatever is necessary to take care of all of your responsibilities. So for me, I've got a wife, kids, mortgage. So you add all that stuff up and subtract it with the assets that you currently have. And, if something happens to me, I want to be very generous to my family. So term insurance is crazy inexpensive. So I've got 15 million, and I feel really good about that.
Jeez Louise, I don't have that, Nicole. Sorry about that.
We can help.
Yeah. My parents both passed young, and my dad passed at 56, and my mom passed at 62. And God, it threw me. Like I look back at those times, and I didn't work through it, and was using devices and substances and everything else to not have to deal with it. And for the longest time, I would tell myself, okay, if I just make it to 56, then I don't have what my dad died of, and it's like your mind just plays tricks on you. But I think that like in this day and age today, there's so many ways to be healthy, and I think that I look at like what I'm doing and what my wife's doing and her friends, like we do take care of ourselves now, and it's totally different than what it was. Like I'll be 52 this year, and at 52, my dad wasn't going snowboarding or surfing or doing things that we're doing. So
no, I think we're in an age where not only are we aware of how we can take care of ourselves just using the basic things, but the advances that are coming online. I mean, in the lobby of your building, Prenuvo.
Yeah.
Have you done the 5D body scan, the 3D?
I have not done it there, but I've done it somewhere else before. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So like that's a game changer right now. And if you can find these things early, then they're much more manageable.
Yeah. I 3 years ago I got cancer. I got prostate cancer. My daughters, I think my oldest kind of knows, but we didn't. But they're gonna know they're fine. But they caught it super early, and years ago they probably wouldn't have. And then I just got my prostate taken out. I wasn't gonna, because they're all, well, you can leave it if you want. I'm like, oh, it's not gonna get any better, and I'm pretty young, so I got it out, and it's all good.
That's right.
Yeah. So you have written some books.
It's true.
Let's talk about these books you got.
Yeah. So the first book, entitled Your Life by Design, a step-by-step guide to creating a bigger future. The 4th edition came out a couple years back, and it's basically just that roadmap that enabled me to accomplish the things that we've been able to accomplish. It's really more of a workbook than a reading book, because every chapter ends with an exercise. So I'd be thrilled to get anybody a free digital version of the book Your Life by Design. Just go to www.yourlifebydesign.com/friend of Curtis. yourlifebydesignbook.com.
We'll put it on the screen too, so they can see it. Awesome. Well, I'm sure that will be very helpful too.
We want to add as much value as possible.
And then you have some more books too, right?
Yeah. So the second book was really my confession that I thought I was being a good dad and husband and realized that I wasn't. So that book's entitled Family First: How to Be a Hero at Home. And that's all of my mistakes that I made and my ongoing effort to be a better husband and a father. And then wrote a book.
Well, let's pause there. So when did you write that book?
That book came out probably 9 years ago.
So how old were your kids?
They were, 8, 5, 3, young.
And I did not read the book. So is it because I as a business owner, entrepreneur, I'm always going, my mind's always racing. I'm there, but I'm not there. I'm on my phone. And we struggle with that at home. And it's so bad that my oldest daughter calls me dad or daddy sometimes, but my youngest daughter calls me Bill, and it bothers me because she doesn't. I'm like it's hard to be a dad, and it's kind of rude, I think, that you don't call me. And she finally came clean with it, and she's like, well, I do that, Dad, because you don't listen to me, and when I say that, you hear me. And that was like, whoa. I'm like, that was pretty deep. Well, I think I'm a great dad in so many areas, but in a lot of areas I'm not. And I can be short, or if I'm stressing, I can, maybe snap a little bit. But I will say that ever since I became sober from booze, it's like a totally different game. It's just there's not those anxieties in the morning, and it's my overall life has improved dramatically.
I think it's all about being more present, to your daughter's point, and I think that's something so many of us are guilty of. And yet, if we're mindful, and we can enjoy those precious moments with the little ones, because they grow up all too fast.
So we are going to Florida on Sunday because it's my wife's birthday and my oldest daughter's birthday. And so we're going to Florida, and then we're taking my daughter to college and dropping her off in Alabama, which is a far away. And I haven't even been to Alabama, so I'm going to learn this week. But it has been a very unique, uncharted waters, and they call it soiling the nest, and my daughter is like, it just, they know everything, and it's also because she has like a lot of anxieties about going away, and she doesn't know those feelings and how to express them. But I woke up yesterday morning. I'm laying in bed with my wife, and I'm like, I'm kind of tripping right now. I'm like, this is weird for me that Kate's gonna be gone. So I'm excited to be away with her this coming week,
absolutely,
and I can like have some in-depth conversations with her and like get things off my just talk. Because Ed, is I feel like when I go on vacations with my family, that's when you really connect, and that's really the only time because we're all busy and life is happening. So
well, good for you for being so intentional.
Yeah, no, I am very I'm getting my thoughts out there more and more and trying to be a lot more present.
I'm just going to tweak one of the things that you said. You said spoiling the nest. Another phrase that I've heard a lot. Soiling the nest. Okay.
Yeah.
So another phrase that people often refer to is empty nesting.
Yes.
And I heard a new phrase that I love, which instead of becoming empty nesters, we're becoming free birds.
Yes.
So, there's going to be some good things in addition to the bittersweetness.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, while it's sad, it's also, like, we're going to be able to connect again as a couple, and we're going to be able to, relive, and and because when you get married young, you're, like, I'm a totally, like, while I'm the same person, I'm a different person, and my wife is as well, that's why you see so many people when the kids go away, they either make it, they don't. Like right now, I have tons of friends going through divorces. It just happens. Mm-hmm. Do you have any kids at home now?
We have our little one is going to be left at home. He's going to be a sophomore down the street at Pacifica Christian High School.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So my youngest is going to be a sophomore as well, and she's going back to Pali this year. She was at Pali, and then we moved her to Marymount, which I loved. I thought it was a great school, and it really did a great job for her, and she excelled there. But she wants to be by her friends, and I'm not gonna. And I'm gonna save a lot of money, so it's okay.
Well done.
Yeah. Are there any other points from that book that you could speak to regarding, like some of the mistakes that you made, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'll focus more on some of the things that are working really, really well, especially at this stage that we're in. And that's really around being intentional and growing together with your spouse, because I think the reason so many divorces occur is because you just grow apart when you've got, the kids very focused there and the work very focused there. And so for my wife and I, it's been exciting because this longevity thing is something that we're both super engaged in. And so she's even more into it than I am. I mean, she's like wearing a continuous glucose monitor, like nonstop. And
what about the cold plunge?
33 degrees is pretty cold for 3 minutes. So yes,
solid.
It's it will waken you up.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So yeah, we enjoy. There's a little getaway that we are able to head to in Tucson, Canyon Ranch, and they have the cold plunges and all of the things to liven the soul. Yeah,
I do an annual trip out to Beaver Creek. A friend of mine has a place there, and where we stay is at the Ritz.
Of course.
And they have the same thing, like downstairs, like we're on the mountain all day, and then we go down there, and it's just, oh my God, it's so nice. They have the cold plunge, they have the sauna, the steam room, and there's so many people that are doing it. You meet the most interesting people in those places, and places there, people are like doing things with their life. Like I met a client there that I just got we just launched, pretty funny, but we just launched a fast channel called Wine, Watches, and Whiskey, and it's all about like wineries and trying to get more business for them. And I met a guy inside there that his family owned a big winery, and they're going to be a client. They're giving us content, so
it pays for itself. Longevity pays for itself.
I'm gonna expense that, guys. And then you got a new book as well.
So then the next book that came out is Smart Money: 8 Strategies for Financial Security, Success, and Significance. I think the third section of that book is really powerful because so many folks in Los Angeles are, reasonably focused on accumulating wealth, and yet one of their biggest fears is that the wealth that they're going to accumulate might disincentivize their kids at best, if not ruin them at worst.
Yeah.
And so the question becomes like, how do we pass on not only our wealth but also our values? And what's interesting is that 9 out of 10 of the best estate plans fail, and they fail not because they didn't prepare the money for the kids, it's because they didn't prepare the kids for the money.
Yeah.
So we identify what are the 8 strategies of those 10% of families who would say they were successful in passing on both their wealth and values. So I think that's a really important conversation to have with your spouse in terms of, at this stage in life, what can we do to empower our kids and not to disincentivize them?
No, it's so true. I think that we don't teach our kids about these things like this, and I was a perfect example where they give you a credit card at college and you go, it's like free money. Well, it's not free money, and I got in like not a good place where I had credit card debt. I had a truck that was repoed, which is nuts. Like I remember I was out one night. I was living in Pacific Beach, living across the street from a bar, and we were drinking the night before, not driving home or anything, but I came home. That morning I went out to go to work, and I'm like, wait, where's my car? And I'm like, I'm not that hungover. It got repoed. It is such a horrible feeling.
I can't imagine.
And no, it was so bad. Curtis, it was like embarrassing. Like on so many levels, all that. And I scrounged the money. I got it back. But then I still couldn't pay for it. When I moved to LA, I was driving this beat up truck that I wasn't paying on it. I didn't have tags, and I had to drive to work, and I would hide it. So it won't get repoed. Well, luckily, like I moved here, got a job, whatever, and then I started my own company, and I hit it pretty big right out of the gate. And this was when I was like 30, I want to say. And the first thing I did when I made money, I went to the loan place. There was one on like Wilshire, and I went in there, and I'm like, I think it was like $7,000 on it, and the truck wasn't worth like $3,000 probably. And I wrote them. I go, I'll write you a check for the whole amount, but I want it off my credit.
Yes.
And they took it off my credit, and then I slowly but surely I got a prepaid credit card, a gas card. Like our first condo we bought, I wasn't even on the loan because my credit was so bad. It was only my wife, and now I have like the best credit, but I'm like anal about it. So I am trying to preach that to my kids.
That's a good lesson to teach early on.
Yeah. So I have come. Where I sit today. There's a lot of people out there who say, "Wait, Bill Raymond does that?" Like, because they wouldn't think it. I think
we all have those stories.
Yeah. So you meet tons of people. And, what are some of the major mistakes people make with money? I mean, just overspending and not putting enough away.
Yeah. I think what's really interesting is that, especially in Los Angeles, it's easy to want what everybody else has. Yeah. And so it's hard not to be frugal. But one of the lessons that I've heard is you always want to have at least one spouse who's frugal. And so I'm very fortunate to have a wife who's very frugal. Marrying a CPA helps that. And so, you just have to have that discipline. And I think for most people, if you can get to the point where you're saving at least 20% of your income, I think it's going to be fine. It's not like you have to be crazy in your savings, but you just have to have some simple strategy where you're paying yourself first. And as long as you're paying yourself first, then it just kind of accumulates and you're in a good place. But if you don't have that habit early, it's really hard to be living off of 110% of your paycheck and then go down to, I need to save a little bit for a rainy day. But if you do, obviously, you're always very grateful.
Yeah, I mean, I know people, friends of ours that probably make combined $500,000 a year and live paycheck to paycheck. And I think that's big here. I think and I'm like, wait, how do you, that's just more stress for you. And it's pretty big. It's not a small amount. And then when college comes, they're trying to figure that mess out. And then I also know a couple that just got a divorce, and it was a pretty quick one. I'm like, how do you get that done so quickly? And then he's like, well, we don't have anything. I'm like, wait, you're 53 years old and you don't have anything? He's like, yeah, but my business is killing it today. I'm like, well, yeah, my business kills it sometimes it doesn't. That changes it like that. And I think it's a big piece of, I think it's probably 80% of the country's like that.
Yes, it's scary. Yeah. So save money. Spend less than you earn and save as much as you can.
Do you see people that because of their lifestyle and going out and boozing too much and things like that, can you tell those people when you meet them and you get to know them and those maybe aren't making the best decisions overall, not just with their health but just with the way that they live their life and the risk they take or not take? And
yeah, we really see ourselves not just as financial planners, but we want to help them in every area of their life. And that's why I wrote that first book, Your Life by Design. It's not just about financial. Money is important, but it's not the most important thing. So we want to come alongside our clients in every single way. And we've been really fortunate to build a team of CPAs and attorneys who share that vision for being stewards of our wealth and really becoming, we're blessed to be a blessing to others. So I think the transformation that we hope to bring to our clients is not just a mindset of, okay, I'm going to be financially secure myself, but how can you also be very generous to the world around us? Because there's so many causes that desperately need our donation. So we love to help create philanthropists among our clients as well. That's the ultimate goal, to give back.
No, it's so true. Especially right now, the world is a bit ugly and a bit off kilter, and when you watch the news, it's so depressing. It's just no, I can't do it today.
I recommend that you don't watch or read more than 15 minutes of news a day, because
15 minutes
is the maximum that I give myself, because a lot of it you can't really control.
Yep.
A lot of it just makes you crazy. So I think it's important to be informed, but to dwell on a lot of that negativity doesn't serve anyone well. So
no.
I love the idea, and I think you exemplify this. We get to choose our attitude every day, and so I choose to bring my sunshine with me. So even if it's cloudy outside, even if the news isn't good, I'm going to bring my sunshine with me.
I like that. Are your kids, are the older kids that are in school now, have they learned finances and they understand it to a degree, of course?
Yeah. We talk a lot about their financial planning, and we talk about, when they're older, they need to start funding their 401k and their IRA and all that stuff. But from a very early age, we talked about their personal responsibility account. And so these were little cash value life insurance policies that Christy and I started funding for them. And every year on their birthday, we would show, here's how your cash value has grown. It grew without tax. Avoiding taxes is a really, really good thing. And we say, hey, we're going to continue funding this for you. And when you graduate from college, you're going to have all of this money, and it's going to be there to help put a down payment on a house or to start your own business. But we're going to expect you to start paying for it for yourself. And again, if you're a good student, a good citizen, get a job, we're going to give this to you. But if you're not, your mom and I are going to cash it in and go on a really good vacation.
I'm going to come with you.
We'd love to have you join us. We'll go to Beaver Creek.
Oh, I like that. I think, the more discipline you can have and you just keep building on it, right? It's like if you want to build a business, it's not one day you're working and you keep doing it, and it needs to become just reps and just part of of your own DNA. And I think it's those blocks really do help.
For sure.
Anti-retirement club.
Yeah.
What's this about?
Yeah.
I like the name.
So I went to that longevity conference, and we had those epiphanies. And the first epiphany was you don't want to be old and sick. And so it's really all about, not just lifespan, but health span and joy span. So that's when my longevity journey began 2 years ago, when I started paying attention to all that stuff. And even in 2 years, all my biomarkers are way better than they were before. But the second epiphany was no one wants to be really, really old and lonely. And I just thought about my own mother-in-law, who's 91, living in Sacramento in the same house she's lived in for 60 years. All of her family's moved away. All of her friends have passed away, and she's desperately lonely, but she refuses to move. And it's this really sad situation. I just thought, I don't want to end up like that. And so I realized it's incumbent upon us even now to be very intentional about creating a community of people that you'd want to spend as much time as possible with. And so I just thought, what are the mindsets I'd want to spend more and more time with people? And so I started sharing these 8 mindsets with friends, and everyone said, yeah, I'd like to be part of that. And so we thought, well, let's do a longevity dinner. And it was immediately oversubscribed. So we did another one, and it was immediately oversubscribed. And by the end of 2023, we'd had over 200 people come to our dinners. And so we thought, well, maybe we should come up with a name. And we thought, well, if people could potentially live a lot longer than they're planning, it doesn't really make sense to retire at 65. So we call it the Anti-Retirement Club. And we went from doing 1 event a month to 2 to 3 events every month, bringing in MDs, PhDs, and longevity tech CEOs. And it's just been super fun. And the latest evolution, which I haven't even shared with you, is just last week we launched, because what we found is there's a lot of people that love coming to the events, but they want more. And a lot of people, they get their Oura ring, or they get their blood tests, and they get all this data, but they don't know what to do with it. So we're launching a longevity mastermind, or a longevity forum, or we're pairing groups of 14 peers with a trained facilitator, so that everyone can get their biomarkers benchmarked and set goals for where they'd want to be able to go with their longevity, come up with the why do they want to be able to have those extra years, and then leverage all the experts and the speakers that we've built relationships with over the last year. So we're really excited about launching this longevity forum. And where we ultimately see this going, and this is the ideal outcome or end game for the Anti-Retirement Club, is imagine if we can create this community of 10,000 heart-centered leaders who, by leveraging all these advances in longevity, are able to find an additional 22 years, not just of lifespan, but health span and joy span. Imagine the cumulative impact of 10,000 people with an extra 22 years. That's an extra 220,000 years of this community learning together, growing together, making the world a better place together. So that's the Anti-Retirement Club. And I think I shared this before, but here's our 8 mindsets and the scorecard that we encourage people to complete. So yeah, maybe we can include that in the podcast.
Oh, for sure. Well. And I would love to be a part of that. So
dude, of course. September 3rd, we're doing an awesome event at Love Life. So,
where's Love Life,
dude? So, Love Life is.
So I like it.
Sounds good.
I like yeah.
So here's what's cool. The founder of Whole Foods sold to Amazon, and now he's all in on longevity, and he built a 45,000 square foot longevity center in El Segundo called Love Life. So we're doing a really awesome event there. We've got this amazing longevity doctor coming in from New York City, and we'd love to have you join us.
Awesome. Yeah, I think Deutsch told me about that, actually.
Yeah, Eric's been very active, and he was at the event with this doctor, and she's amazing.
Thanks, Deutsch.
We love you, buddy.
It's and it's so nice to be around other people that are like you and that are positive, and it just it when you're a kid, your parents would say, well, you are who you hang out with, and you go, yeah, whatever. But it's true, like if you're around people that are like-minded and have goals and good overall character, well, it does wear off on you. So I agree with that. And I think in the age we're in, midlife, right? And it's not even midlife now. Well, I guess it is midlife if we live a lot longer. But if you look at it from before, it's a little past that. And I think men have a lot bigger problem with midlife than females do. Because my wife has a very good social community, and like there's like 30 moms that they've all known each other from like I feel like the families we met in first, second, and third grade have kind of become our close friends, and they've stayed all the way through. And even if our kids aren't close, but they talk and they chat and they text and I feel like men don't, and I think that is a problem because you build it up inside you, and you let your mind play tricks on you, and we're trying to provide, and we stress, and we look, oh my God, we're not making enough money, and so yeah,
it's so important to have a close group of friends that you can share that with.
For sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of it's not common for people to talk about, especially finance. Like people never want to say about finance. But if you can find someone like yourself that is a trusted guidance, and it's like a therapist almost, where you can just share everything, you get it off your chest, you can talk through it, you feel better, and then you can fix it.
Yeah, there's a really awesome book I just read called Made for People. It's how we're made to be in relationship, and yet so many of us are leading lives of quiet desperation, and they just encourage us to have at least one person with whom you're not just sharing, but you're also vulnerable. And when you build that relationship of vulnerability, it just, to your point, it frees you.
Yeah.
And life is so much easier when you've got that buddy who you can walk through life with and know that no matter how difficult things are, there's somebody who's got your back.
No, it's so true. And as we all know, there will always be ups and downs, and there will always be positives and negatives that come up, and you just have to just roll through the punches. What are your thoughts on LAsober?
Yeah, well, it's so interesting. I love what you're doing here. It's fascinating how the alcohol culture is changing before our eyes, because even with my kids, like I think about the social lives that they've had, and it's so much tamer than what I experienced growing up, and I'm grateful for that. And so from the high school students, the college students, to my friends who are in their 20s and 30s, to my peers in their 40s and 50s, alcohol is just not what it was, and I think a big part of it is, these Oura rings or the whoops when you see your sleep score after even just one or two drinks.
Bye-bye,
right? And then it's like, oh, it makes that connection that I never really had before, that if I don't drink, I feel so much better the next day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for most folks, there's a dramatic reduction in their alcohol consumption. And the good news is there's so many great alternatives now. I mean, the non-alcoholic beers are really...
I drink tons of them. And they do the trick.
Yes.
They do the trick. I'll come home and I'll have one. And it's like having a regular beer. And you're right. I mean, like when we were growing up, there was... what was the main one? It was... What's the name of the there was like one in a beer. There was like I can't think of the name of it.
It'll come to you.
But yeah, now there's so many of them. Like Stella. Stella's non-alcoholic beer tastes just like a Stella.
Yeah,
exactly like it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also think that because we live in California and plant-based is legal. And I think growing and by all means, I don't condone anything for people. Like people have to do what's best for them, and for kids as well. But I think that we were made to believe that like marijuana was so bad for you, and of course anything you do too much of is bad for you. But I'm a firm believer in these plant-based, that if you do it in a responsible manner, that it's so much easier on your body, and it just makes life so much easier.
Exactly.
It just does. It just does, and you can sleep better.
All good things.
So before we get into some fast questions, are there any other topics that you'd like to bring up or anything? Or
so one of the things that I really appreciate is just the community building that you're doing here, and so I just like to welcome anyone who's interested. If you'd like to learn more about our longevity communities, we do the events 2 to 3 times a month. We do a monthly longevity Zoom for folks that aren't here in Los Angeles. So we'd really love to have as many people as possible be part of those 10,000 heart-centered leaders that want to learn together, grow together, make the world a better place together. So I'm going to be part of building that community with you.
Awesome. Yeah, and we'll put that on the screen. Yeah, I'll say that since I started doing these, it's been a little weird in some ways because I'm so transparent and open, but I think that's why it is resonating with folks. And I've had many dads that will just text me and they say, Bill, thank you for being open, and thank you for sharing your thoughts on what you have going on, because we're all in it together. And it's been great. It's almost like therapy for me too.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yeah.
It's because it's true. Like the more that you can give, like you always think, oh, I want, but I mean, I know people that are gazillionaires that are the most unhappy people in the world, and the people that find the balance of giving instead of receiving are usually the happiest people out there.
Let's be happier with them.
Let's do it. So these are some questions. Lightning round. Mushrooms or meditation?
Meditation. Yeah, I've really become to appreciate how important that is, and as part of the longevity journey, we realize how important sleep is, and so doing a meditation before sleep is phenomenal. A really, really great way to detach from the day and get into deep sleep and REM sleep a lot faster. So, big fan of meditation.
All right. Most badass thing in your 50s.
So, talking about connecting with our daughters, after COVID and all of our family vacations got canceled, I told the kids, let's do, something fun one-on-one. And so my oldest wanted to do some college tours. That was awesome. My youngest wanted to do some mountain biking. We had a blast. And my daughter had never decided what she wanted to do. So it was like October. I was like, honey, we haven't figured out what you wanted to do together. And so we're on a date at lunch, and she says, I've decided. And I said, oh, what is it? Antarctica. So thankfully, one of my clients had just become the CEO of National Geographic Lindblad. I said, Dolph, I need your help in a hurry. And he was able to get us on a trip to Antarctica, just my daughter and I.
That's amazing.
The best.
Did you camp on in a tent or anything like that?
No, we took a boat down there, and it was fantastic. But I would never ever expected to go to Antarctica, let alone to be prompted by my daughter. But
so my wife's sister, I'm pretty sure that's where they went. They went there for their honeymoon of all places. I think, I'm pretty sure that's where they went, which is
it's memorable.
Yeah. A quote that changed your life.
Yeah. So I you shared some of these before, and I appreciated that one in particular. Yeah. There's an amazing author, Matthew Kelly, and he talks about, and this goes back to meditation really, the importance of spending time in the classroom of silence. And I just think about in this busy world, in this, Twitter feed, social media, it's just so precious to give yourself time in the classroom of silence.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and do that more.
Yeah.
I will say this. What I have done some of is inside the car. I won't put on anything.
Yes.
I put on because that's like it's an easy time to because there's no one around, and in a car you can think differently.
Yes.
So I have found that's a very inexpensive life hack. Worst money decision.
It's so easy to get excited about, friends, ideas, companies, deals.
Oh my god.
So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, we've gotten enthusiastic prematurely before.
Oh, I'm right there with you, my friend. If I'm so bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like 6, 7 figures of 7 figures of investments I've made that haven't come through. So when we sold our first company in 2009, it was right when the world fell apart. Like we're like the last deal that got done, and we did well with it. And I bought a house, and I put a really down payment, so that was a smart thing I did. But I sat on some money because I didn't know the stock market well, and for whatever reason my parents weren't, and so I didn't really trust it. And so I'm like, well, I built one company and I made all this money. I'm going to do the same thing, and that money hasn't come back yet. And if I would have just put that money in, and let's just say it was a $500,000, if I would have put that money in the market, then, Jesus, I'd be that much closer to being done. And that's not where I'm at. So I'm right there with you.
That's okay. As long as we have diversification, as long as you have some money in some safer places,
we're good.
Just let it grow over time. Compound interest, beautiful thing.
Well, I'm glad that I'm not the only one.
No.
Yeah. Now I'm all about making small bets. So when I do those, I just do small bets instead of the bigger bets because it won't hurt as much.
That's true.
One thing you're still trying to figure out.
Yes, that was a great question. For me, it's a lifelong journey to be the best husband I can be. And one of the things that I write about in the book that I'm still working on is just being that patient listener to my wife. And I think I heard this just a week ago, this idea of when your spouse has a question for you, saying, do you want me to put on the listener hat or the fix-it hat? And I think as a guy, if I wasn't thinking, it would be all the time, I want to fix it. How can I fix this? But so much time, that's not what they want. And so I want to be better at putting on the listening hat when Christy wants me just to listen.
Well, Nicole, I don't think she ever watches these things, but if you ever do, I know I have to improve at that. Like, I am not good at that at all. So thank you for that.
Together.
I'm going to try to do a lot better at that. What is your clarity cocktail if it's not booze?
Yeah. For me, it's really, I've gone to water. I drink so much water now. I think it's a good thing to stay hydrated. And when I'm out at events, last night I was at a lovely event, and there was great wine and alcohol, and I just stuck with water all night. It worked out just fine.
So I used to drink a lot of wine. That was my go-to because I was like, oh well, I'm not a drunk because I'm drinking wine. I'm high class, but it was like a bottle of wine a night for many years. Well, this is great to have you on. I appreciate it. We will share wherever they can find you. But if you want to say it again, where they can find you, and we'll share
I think LinkedIn is a great place.
Okay.
Just Curtis Estes on LinkedIn, and direct message me with any questions. We'd love to invite as many people as possible to our longevity community, and such a treat to spend this time with you. Thank you.
Well, thank you again, Curtis. Appreciate it.
Blessings.